Welcome to the Sycamore Bank Ranger Hour. Super Talk Mississippi 93.7 Spotlight is on Northwest Community College, and you can listen to our live stream at supertalknorthms.com. Just click on the link for the Sycamore Bank Ranger Hour. Here's your host, Gary Darby.
Welcome to the program, my friends. It is 9:06 on this Thursday, November 3rd, another edition of the Sycamore Bank Ranger Hour. Welcome into the LitcoMetals.com studio. This is Gary Darby for the next hour to discuss a few things Northwest Mississippi Community College related items of business. We'll talk a few things from the Performing Arts Center, and then we're going to get into sports. It's basically going to be a sports show today. We've got a few teams in the playoffs that we need to get into, and then we've got basketball season that started already, and the two basketball coaches at Northwest will be with us on the program. First up will be first-year head coach of the women's basketball team, LaTaryl Williams, and then we'll go with men's basketball coach Shane Oakley after that. All kinds of things happening in the world at NWCC in sports, with playoff action going on for volleyball, for soccer, for football. I've got details of all that coming up with you here. And then we will move into those interviews along the way. So you can secure your seats now for the upcoming season at Northwest with the Performing Arts Center, and great packages available. It all gets started February 18th with Kristen Chenoweth. And then you get in March, Jay Leno. An evening with Dr. Ben Carson, Donnie Edwards, which will be an elite tribute to Elvis, and then the New York City Gilbert and Sullivan Players presenting the Pirates of Penzance. In April, the Northwest Symphony Orchestra. In May, Rain, which is a tribute to the Beatles. Also in May, Grammy Award-winning bluesman Bobby Rush and his band. And then in June, Billy Bob Thornton and the Boxmasters. All of that schedule, plus many other things that we have discussed and will continue to do on this program. But if you're looking for great seats, you need to do it now by going to www.nwccpac.org. Make sure I got all those letters right. nwccpac.org. And if you have any questions, you can call 562-3200 during regular business hours. That's Monday through Friday from 1 until 4 as they get you prepared for the upcoming season at the new PAC on the Northwest campus. All right, there are plenty of things that we need to discuss and get to before the first break, and then get with Coach LaTaryl Williams. And that is Coach Burchett and the Northwest volleyball team. You know, they finished up 15-13. They won 4 straight games, 4 straight matches, and those matches happened to get them a championship as they won in the NJCAA Region 23 Play-In Championship, sweeping Pearl River on Saturday, October 29th. They will be playing in the FCSAA, NJCAA, wow, Division II Gulf District Tournament starting tomorrow. They're in Florida to do that, and it is St. John's River State College, the first opponent, 10:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. So Northwest Volleyball, still in its early seasons, already winning a Region 23 championship and playing in the Division II Gulf District Tournament tomorrow morning, 10:30 in Florida, against St. John's River State College. We have soccer going on. Coach James Beatty and company. They are playing in the tournament as well in the quarterfinals of the MACCC Region 23. Boy, there's a lot of letters for me to try and hopefully I've gotten them all right. The 6th-ranked Lady Ranger soccer team plays number 5 Jones tomorrow in the quarterfinals of the Region 23 tournament. Northwest, 12 wins, 1 loss, 2 ties. The Lady Bobcats, 11 wins, 1 loss, 2 ties. So it's number 6 at number 5. Jones is actually hosting the quarterfinals and the tournament itself to get a Region 23 championship. The match is at 5 o'clock at Jones for women's soccer. So you have volleyball, you have soccer tomorrow to pay attention to, and then football on Saturday because the Northwest Ranger football team's number 3 in the country. They finished the regular season unbeaten at 9-0 and won the North Division in Mississippi football. Jones is 8-1. They lost on the last regular season game of the year to Mississippi Gulf Coast to finish second. Although Northwest is number 3 in the country, and Jones comes in at number 7 in the country in a semifinal game. The other matchup is number 14 East Mississippi at number 12 Gulf Coast. So 4 of the top 14 teams taking on one another in semifinal action in football. The Rangers and the Bobcats are scheduled to kick off at Bobby Franklin Field in Senatobia at 2 o'clock on Saturday. Our text message line is 662-426-1093. That's 662-426-1093. The Facebook page is North Mississippi Spotlight with Gary Darby. You know how to get me on Twitter at GDarb65. Stream us. Use the Alexa. Do whatever. Just keep it on Super Talk 93.7 for today's Sycamore Bank Ranger Hour. More to come.
You're listening to the Sycamore Bank Ranger Hour. Your connection to Northwest Mississippi Community College on Super Talk Mississippi 93.7 and stream live at supertalknorthms.com. Just click on the link for the Sycamore Bank Ranger Hour.
Please do, and don't forget that later on today, wherever you get your podcasts, this show will be up there as well, the Sycamore Bank Ranger Hour. And I'm always excited to get a chance to talk with athletics and do things. You people know that's truly my background and where it goes. But today kind of reminds me of my age a little bit, and these two guests that are coming up, because women's basketball coach LaTaryl Williams joins us first. Men's basketball coach Shane Oakley joins us next. I've known both of these guys since they were teenagers. I'm a little bit older than that. And now they are successful basketball coaches, men, fathers, and all those things in the world. Let's welcome in Coach Williams to the program. LaTaryl, how are you?
Man, I'm doing great, Gary. Man, I really appreciate you having me on this morning.
Without a doubt.
You're kind of telling my age as well, but it's okay.
you don't have as many trips around the sun as I do, but I'm moving on up there a little bit, and it is great to do these kind of interviews and catch ups just a little bit. I obviously know the background and the story just a little bit, and most of the people in North Mississippi do as well. But if you will, kind of lead us through at least the past couple of years where you've been before taking over this program this year.
Well, for the last 4 seasons, I was the head coach at East Central Community College down in Decatur, Mississippi. Had a great time down there, met a lot of great people on the East Central side, administrators, athletic directors, professors at that school. Did a great job of supporting our program and just keeping our players on track on and off the court. So I was there for 4 years, and we had a great time there. Had an opportunity to win some big games. Got nationally ranked my first year there, and just trying to get the success going here back at Northwest.
We had to get you back in North Mississippi. I mean, you had to come home, right?
I had no place like home, man, and this place means so much to me personally. Playing here from '96 to '98 for a great coaching staff and Coach Mark Dukes and Jeff Caldwell. Those guys taught me a lot about basketball, but more importantly, they taught me a lot of things about life and being a man. So it's great to be back home and try to pass that wisdom on to our youth here, as we get the season started. As
you were playing the sport, did you think that this was a profession, this would be what you would want to do, or were there other thoughts in your mind?
Well, being around the game of basketball at a young age, I knew I wanted to continue to be around the sport. I had an opportunity to play basketball at a high level for a long time. Went overseas and played about 10 years professionally. So I knew once I hung my playing shoes up that I really wanted to get into coaching and kind of stay around the game and pass along the wisdom and life experience that basketball has taught me for the next generation.
Coach LaTaryl Williams is with us, first-year head coach at Northwest women's basketball. And so you got the job late July and had to, get this as your team. Can you kind of take us through that process, you accepting the job, getting here, looking at the roster? You brought people into play this year, which the season's already started, and in a short amount of time you had to put this all together. What was that like?
Very stressful, by the way. Well, it's exciting at the same time. Trying to get our team and get an understanding of the players that the previous coaching staff had signed, and hats off to them. They signed a really good freshman class. We have 14 freshmen. So it was a situation where you have to play the cards that you're dealt. And I'm always going to play to win. I always have my players prepared to play the game. It's not an ideal situation, but it's one that I was thrust into. One thing about myself, I'm up for all challenges. I feel like basketball pretty much is the same worldwide. If you got your team on the same page and everybody's playing together and they're willing to buy into what the coaching staff is trying to do, regardless of the talent you have, you can be successful. So we had a really good freshman class coming in. We had one returning sophomore, Claire Leak. So we're young, we're inexperienced, but this roster, man, they're eager to play, they're eager to learn every day in practice, and they go out and compete each time they touch the floor.
And, Coach, that's all you can ask for, right, is for them to look at you and your assistant coach and to take in what you have. And, yes, obviously we keep score and you want to win. But in this first year, is it more about you putting a stamp and these players and you as a staff gelling together and starting to build what you want a Coach Williams women's basketball team at Northwest to be?
That's exactly what it is. Just trying to lay some foundation on what our program wants to look like, the type of style of play we want to incorporate here within our program. Just going back to the legendary Don Edwards days, they played a lot of players. They rotated players in and out. They pressed. They played a fast break type of style of offense, and they were very aggressive pressing on defense. And that's the type of style of basketball that I want to bring with my system as well. So being in this league as a player, being coaching this league for over 10 years now, that type of style is very successful in this league. So we want to establish that, and I think we have a really good group who's young and eager to learn. That's going to allow us to establish that foundation here our first year.
I'm glad you mentioned Don Edwards because I'm going to expand on that just a little bit. When I speak to teams or I still coach a little baseball and I talk with those guys that I have, I will never forget a time working at Northwest, and he is the coach, and at a practice, he just stops the practice, and in the middle of it, he put the team on the baseline, and his speech became, know what you can and cannot do. And he really simplified things. They went into a zone defense situation. They ran maybe 3 different plays, and he ended up from being like a 500 team in the middle of the year to winning the Region 23 tournament and going to the Nationals. And I always carried that with me. It's important for you as the coach and for these players to understand, know what you can and cannot do, and then be the best at what you can.
And that goes back to players accepting their roles and knowing their strengths and weaknesses. I'm a type of player that when I played the game, I knew what I did on the court that would help my team win. The coaches understood what I could do and what my strengths are. So, that's the type of mentality I want to have with my players. If you're a strong three-point shooter, hey, get yourself positioned to take your shot when you're open. If you're a really good defender and that's what your strengths are, then I'm going to put you on the best player on our opponent team and really lock them up. So basically when you have teams that are coming together and they're new and, basically everybody's the best player on their team as a high school senior. So when you come into a system and as a freshman, you have a team now with players who are the best players on their team their senior year. So it's all about understanding your roles and being a superstar at your role. And if everybody has that same mindset, man, you can do some great things on the basketball court. And I tip my hats off to the coaches I played for, especially Mark Dukes. He understood we had a lot of talent on our team my 2 years here, but everybody understood if we had success as a group, then individually we will reap the benefit. So that's one thing I try to get our girls to understand is that Don't be jealous if you're not getting the minutes you want. Everybody's role is important. If you're the star player who's getting all the shots, to the player who never gets off the bench who's cheering us on, to the person who's passing out the water. Everybody's role is important, and for us to be successful, you have to do your job and be successful at it.
Just a couple more things, and I'll let you go because there is a game for you to prepare for tonight. You're off to a 1-0 start. Your team played Freed Hardman's JV and got a 59-54 win on the court to open up the regular season. What did you see? What did you like?
I love what I saw from our freshmen. They were a little nervous at the start, which is expected. Got girls playing their first college game ever, and on the road. So we had a chance to really have a close game and come out with a win. So that's one thing I'm proud about. The girls understood what it takes to finish a game and get the win on the road, and those things build character within your team and within your group. They have an understanding that they have to come together, being on the road, being in a hostile environment. You have to stick together and understand that we all we have on the road. So that was one thing that I was very pleased with, the way they competed on the road in a place that they're not familiar with. We're young. We still have some mistakes that we expected to see. But as we continue to watch film, continue to get better in practice, I feel like we're going to improve each and every day.
Look, thanks for being on the program this morning. Good luck against Dyersburg State. What do you know about that team that you'll see later on?
Well, trying to find some film on them has been like pulling teeth, man. They had a game. They had a game Tuesday night as well against Blue Mountains JV team, and they put up some really impressive numbers. They scored 84 points, so they're riding high. They shot the ball extremely well, so we're going to try to look for some more film online. If not, we'll take the box score, figure out who the shooters are, and figure out who's making all the assists, and go from there.
Look, welcome back to North Mississippi. Congratulations on the win, number one, and we look forward to following you throughout this season and many more. Coach LaTaryl Williams, thank you, buddy.
Thanks, Gary. Good talking to you, man.
Yes, sir. I'll see you soon. That's our first-year head coach at Northwest Community College on the women's basketball side, LaTaryl Williams, with us. And I was doing games when he was at Oxford High School, and then doing things when he was at Northwest and on the Ole Miss Radio Network when he was part of the Ole Miss basketball team and following along. And they get the first win of the season, 59-54, over Freed Hardman's JV team. And then today, 5:30, Howard Coliseum. They'll take on Dyersburg State. So if you're interested, you can stop on by, take in a little basketball. If you can't make it, coverage of the game will be seen on Ranger TV. That's nwccrangers.com/watch. You can also see it on Facebook Live. It is 9:28. Good conversation with the women's basketball coach. Now we'll take a break. We'll come back. Coach Oakley will talk with us about the men's program next.
This hour is Everything Northwest, your connection to Northwest Community College and powered by Sycamore Bank. Thanks for joining us on the Sycamore Bank Ranger Hour. Join the conversation by texting 662-426-1093.
9:30 the time. Gary Darby in the LitGoMetals.com studio on your Thursday. The Sycamore Bank Ranger Hour rolls along. We thank women's basketball coach LaTaryl Williams for joining us. Now, on the men's side, the head coach is Shane Oakley. Mr. Oakley, how are you?
I'm good, Gary. How are you doing?
Good. As I said before LaTaryl got on, it kind of, old radio guy here because I've known both of you men now, since you were teenagers or younger, and now you've got your programs going, your family's going, and everything working. And this is another fun day for me. Welcome back to the show. It's kind of a silly question because basketball's already started, but how have you been, and are you truly ready for what is now about to hit you?
That's the magic question, and doing well, Gary. Appreciate you having me on the show. Always good to talk with you, and we are ready, for the season to get started, and already has started, and excited about what's to take place here in the next couple of months. It's a busy time, but it's a time that we work for from the time the kids get here in August, and some even in the summer. To show what we can do and what we can be as a team. So definitely exciting time of the year.
when I was talking with Coach Williams, he mentioned one returner and a bunch of freshmen. And I look at your roster, now correct me if I'm wrong, right? We've got Jalen Sanders, and there are transfers. There are at least some older guys with freshmen. You basically have a whole new roster as well.
I do. I have Jalen Sanders and Joseph Cooper
Okay.
and Kareem Thompson are my 3 returners, and then I have 12 new guys that consist of transfers and freshmen. So we both are in a precarious situation where you wouldn't normally like to be that way, but because of kids that transfer these days, and last year we had a couple out-of-staters that moved on to Division I and to other programs, and so it is what it is. You have to in JUCO you usually go 2 years anyway, so it's not that big of a deal.
You mentioned the transfer part of it, which is so big all over the place and happens a lot. It has to, though, make you feel pretty good because there were a lot of guys that decided they wanted to come to Senatobia and play for you and play for this school.
Absolutely. It's we have a couple of transfers that chose to come to play for us that I recruited. Javian Shaw from Calhoun City ended up at Northeast and then transferred back to us. Tyqual Taylor's a transfer from Enterprise Community College in Alabama. It's a third-year guy. And then Kadarius Stampley, who also is a transfer, has been at Colin Community College in Mississippi. So it's definitely good, and you can kind of pick and see needs and hopefully late fill those needs and kind of help complete your team.
When you're looking at the roster and you decide playing time, right, how deep do you go? What is the perfect rotation for a Coach Oakley team?
Gary, that's a $1 million question right now. We have 15 guys on our roster, and in all of our preseason games, and then in the first game, all 15 got to play. Now we're playing up tempo, we're pressing, and we're running, and we'd like to continue to do that simply because we're not really big size-wise, and we have a lot of guards that can play. So. Truthfully, you would like to keep it around the 10 to 12, and it's like I told our team the other day, if we slow the pace down, then that 10 to 12 may go to 8 to 9. And for my younger guys and for them to get experience, we need to play fast. And obviously it may cause us to give up some leads and stuff like that early. But I think it'll pay dividends for us late. So, 10 to 12 would be most of the time the ideal because we're going to play up tempo. We're going to press, we're going to run, and hopefully we can wear folks down. But I'm not afraid of putting all 15 out there. I think they know what their job is. And then early in the year, I think it's fair as a coach, besides in practice, when the lights come on, you get to see them play and perform. And so, you give them opportunities to show that they can or they can't.
Coach Williams kind of said this, too. In the league, that's kind of what you have to do, get fast pace up and down the floor, rebound the basketball and go, because so many great basketball teams in Mississippi do the same thing.
Correct. And our league is very good, night in, night out. And, some teams are bigger, some teams shoot it better. But the thing about playing up-tempo and really pressing and running is those guys that shoot it really good early in the first half, by the time that 10-minute mark hits in the second half, you hope you've run down their best shooters and their bigs, and our depth hopefully takes over, and those shots that they're making early don't go in, and hopefully us being accustomed to playing that way, our legs are fresh, and we have depth, and we bring in guys off the bench that can make shots, and so hopefully it pays off in the long run is what you look for. Now, while doing that, are you going to give up easy buckets in transition? Sometimes, yes. Or sometimes you're going to make the wrong rotation? Yes. But as a coach, back in the day, everybody used to think if you gave up a layup, it was the end of the world. And if you're playing slow, maybe it is. But the way we play, we understand the process and that we are going to give up some easy buckets. But at the same time, we hope the good outweighs the bad.
Coach Oakley talking with us about the Northwest men's basketball team. What is practice like then? If you've got the 15 guys and you're trying to get that up and down and competition's going back and forth, Can you kind of describe what a practice day is like?
It's very competitive, which is good, and we practice fast. I think that's a key component in playing fast is you have to practice fast, and with that becomes a lot of competition within practice. A lot of 5-on-5, even in the drill work, we try to make it competitive. A lot of pressing and running in practice, and I don't usually in practice take our best 5 and play against I try to make it as even as possible, so that it is competitive, and so that and sometimes the team that you think is going to win doesn't win.
Yeah.
And so it's really good, and it gives our guys, our younger guys, a chance to play with our older guys, and mix and match, and as it goes on, you're able to see different combinations of players that play together, which might help you down the road. So it's been good. I like my guys. My guys are tough and hard-nosed, not overly big, but will compete and really guard. And for us to be successful, we're going to have to continue to do that.
I know you won the opener 105-67, but I bet, Coach Oakley, you found something you didn't like, and you wanted to do a little bit better. What were your takeaways from that first game?
Obviously, to win is always good. That's your goal. And with us playing up tempo, what always concerns you as a coach is when it slows down. Are you good in the half court offensively? Are you good in the half court defensively? What if somebody breaks your press? Do you give up a layup, or is that not acceptable? And so offensively in the half court at times, we run a motion offense, and so we're trying to pass and cut and screen, and sometimes guys get the ball watching. And so we need to do a better job of that, and it's not because we don't work on it. It's like I told our guys after the game, the two things we work on the most, our motion offense and our shell defense, we were the worst at. But that's normal when you have 12 freshmen or 12 new guys, and they're trying to figure it out. Sometimes the mentality of I need to score takes over, and so just trying to develop better offensively, and then in the half court, once they do break the press, just not concede a layup and scramble and find your man and stop the ball. Is the difference between being an okay team and a really good team. So, and we're going to get better at that. We're going to keep working on it, but excited where we are.
I know you go to West Memphis, Arkansas for the weekend tomorrow and Saturday, National Park College, and then Arkansas State Mid-South. What kind of competition are we looking for in these next two games?
Definitely going to be better competition. I'm sitting here right now watching film on National Park from their game they played on the first. Very, very big, a lot of size. Hopefully our pressure will cause them problems. But they have a lot of size and guys that can make shots. Don't know much about them besides watching the film. Haven't played them in the past. With ASU Mid-South on Saturday, Coach Chris Parker there does a tremendous job. He's a good friend of mine who always has his team ready to play, and we'll have a bunch of good players. So we'll have our hands full. Definitely the competition's fitting to pick up. Playing them on Saturday, then turn around and play Meridian on Monday. So we need to get better and get better in a hurry, which we plan on. Got started on that yesterday, and hopefully we'll continue today and lead into this weekend. But as a young team, there's going to be highs and lows, and the deal is, can you come to work the next day and try to get a little bit better? So look forward to the challenge, and hopefully the guys are up to it.
You've been in this athletic department for a while, and I'm going to leave you with this because your seasons are just getting started in basketball. But we've got volleyball doing something in the early stages of its existence and playing this weekend. Women's soccer is nationally ranked and playing. Football is doing what football typically does. But that entire athletic department, there's lots of really good things happening. And you coaches are a big family, aren't you?
We are. We all get along well. We pull for one another. And I would say that about our college. We have great leadership from the top down. We have all the resources available to us that we need from the president and down to athletic director to the coaches, and everybody wants everybody to do well. Soccer's doing well right now. Volleyball's on their way to Florida. Football, we got a big game coming up Saturday. It's exciting time to be a Ranger, and it's a great place to be. So hopefully us here in basketball can continue that. We have our plate full, and it's not going to be easy, but it's a challenge that we always look forward to, and we hope that if you're out there and want to catch some basketball sometime here this year, that you'll come check us out.
Always a good conversation with you, my friend. I look forward to seeing you maybe down the road soon.
Absolutely, Gary. Thanks so much for all that you do. We appreciate you, and go Rangers.
Yes, sir. Coach Shane Oakley of the men's basketball side, talking about his 1-0 Rangers tomorrow at 5 in West Memphis against National Park College, and then ASU Mid-South Saturday at 2. This is in what they're calling the Greyhound Classic, with ASU Mid-South hosting. The first home game for the Rangers after that will be Monday, as he said, against Meridian, starting to get into the Mississippi competition. After that, they will be playing several games in a row against Mississippi competition before they step out and play a couple of Arkansas schools again. But after this trip to West Memphis, 3 straight at home for the Rangers: Meridian, Coahoma, and East Mississippi within the next week and a half. So we'll keep our eyes on that and continue to update you on both basketball teams as the seasons move along. It is 9:45, friends. We've got to come back and put the wraps on a Sycamore Bank Ranger Hour.
We're talking Rangers this hour. Thanks for joining us for the Sycamore Bank Ranger Hour. It's a special conversation about Northwest Community College. There's a campus near you and more to come. And you can join the conversation by texting 662-426-1093.
If you have any questions academically or whatever about Northwest Community College, northwestms.edu. northwestms.edu. Go to the website. There's a place you can start asking those questions and figure it out. Or you're obviously probably smart enough to carry yourself through and find the programs and the things that you want at northwestms.edu. Or if you're looking athletically, it's nwccrangers.com. That's where we've been discussing things today, both from the women's and the men's basketball side of things, plus the other news and notes we've given you on this Thursday, November 3rd edition of the Sycamore Bank Ranger Hour. Have a good Thursday. And at 9:06 tomorrow, I shall key the mic, hopefully, God willing, and we'll talk to you again on Super Talk 93.7. So long.